I don't know about you, but my mind is somewhat addicted to chaos and stress, going on this new journey of manifesting and being a whole new identity, getting into the law of assumption. For the past, I don't even know how long, I have just always been addicted to stress and chaos, because when I grew up, I was wired, like many of you, to think that doing something meant that I was safe, because I was constantly chasing, constantly hustling, constantly reacting to my reality around me. And I thought that I equaled that reacting to safety, when in reality, receiving and doing nothing is the safety. That is what will help you get what you want in life, to live a life of ease, to essentially fulfill your purpose, right? Unless if hustling is what you want to do, this video is not for you, because we're over here living a life or creating a life to live that is full of ease, safety, nervous system regulation, to allow the universe to bring us more, to allow our manifestations to come in easier. Because I truly believe that hustling is a form of resistance in itself, because we're meant to be here and live a life of joy and love. And I truly think that hustling is just, unless if it's, again, with something that you really love doing, or it's something that you feel called to do, it's a part of your purpose, then by all means do it. But I mean hustling like scrambling to survive, living paycheck to paycheck at a job that you hate, being unhappy with your life and having to work 2 jobs or something like that, or scrambling to find love, or really working hard to get accepted into a college or a job that you really want. It should be easier than that, and it is easier than that. It is alignment. It is all about alignment. And the topic today that I really want to dive into, before I go into this whole rabbit hole of what I believe, whatever, I don't even know if I'm going to post this, but if I do, hello, and I'm so happy to have you here. But the topic today is basically why doing nothing truly is the biggest secret to abundance. Because when you are doing nothing, you are signaling to your reticular activating system, that filter in your brain, that you are safe, and it is okay to it's okay to be in the present moment and search for reasons to thrive and survive, or not survive, but thrive and live, right? And to be creative and exist how you want to fulfill your purpose. You're signaling to the energies of the universe that you are on the frequency of, I'm doing nothing, I'm making room for more, I'm allowing more to come my way, because I am in receiving mode, not reacting mode. We primarily live in 2 different states the majority of our lives, and whatever you are primarily living in is going to dramatically affect what you are interacting with what energies you are interacting with. So when you are in receiving mode is essentially when you are doing nothing. You are relaxing into the moment. It's almost like being as present as humanly possible, where you are just immersed in the experience of the ever-present, ever-changing moment right now. And it can look like reading a book and diving into a book series, or it can look like sipping on some tea or some coffee and truly being aware of the different flavors, of the temperature, of how the air feels on your skin around you, what it looks like at a coffee shop that you might be at, or watching the light of the sun shift on your walls. Being ultimately present in the moment, and that signals to the universe that you are rich, in the sense that you are being as present as possible. Not rich in a money sense, but when you eat something like a really good chocolate and it just has that rich flavor, that's the style of life that you are living when you are in receiving mode. It's you're just savoring every single moment, and that signals to the universe that you are in that energy of receiving. And when the universe sees, and when you are signaling that you are on that frequency, that energy is gonna attract more energy on scientific terms, because that's who you are being. But it's almost like the universe is gonna see that and be like, oh my gosh, they're appreciating what I'm giving them. I'm gonna send them more. And not to get all woo-woo on you, because there is neuroscience behind this, because when you are in that receiving mode, your brain is starting to filter out, the reticular activating system, again, is filtering out more reasons to give you or to spot out, to experience more, to savor more, to have a more rich life, right? So when you are in that receiving mode, it also signals that that is who you are being, that that is the identity you are assuming, that you are in receiving mode. And blessings are just going to flow your way. Like that's just, it is what it is, because that's who you are now. You are savoring each moment that life has to give you, and life rewards that. And it's not even that life rewards that, it's just that that's what you're training, that's the identity that you are training to be. So now you are creating a whole new identity around that, where you are going to see from that point of view, where you are going to experience life from that point of view. I hope that I'm making sense here. And when you are reacting, you're in that hustling energy. You're in that like trying to fix everything, trying to force everything. You're trying to outrun your old programming. You're just like, it's chaos, right? It's chaotic energy. That's survival mode, essentially. And when you are constantly trying to chase, you're not giving your manifestations a chance to land, because you're constantly moving, right? But when you are sitting and you are doing nothing and you are receiving, I guess not really doing nothing, because you're being aware in the present moment, you're being here now. When you are in that moment, you are allowing the manifestation to come to you, because you are not constantly in that energy of chasing, of trying to force the how, of trying to force the why, or like the when it'll happen, the how it'll happen, right? Because that's not your job. Your job is just to decide. In law of assumption terms, your job is just to decide that you are the new identity, that you are the new identity that manifests this and this and this. And your job is just to enjoy the process until it gets here. It is quite literally like placing an order. Like if you buy shoes online or something, you place the order, you put in the energetic currency, or you put in the money, because money is really energy anyway. And your job is just to sit patiently, sip your tea, read your books, enjoy the process until you get there. The sum of your life is ultimately, the quality of your life is going to be the quality of your journey on the way to the destination. So if you are hustling and scrambling and trying to get to the top, say like you're trying to climb a mountain, and the top of the mountain is the destination of your lifetime, right? Or your manifestation or something like that, right? And you're climbing to the top and you're hustling and you're grinding and you are really trying so hard to get to the top. When you get to the top, you are just going to be out of breath. You're going to be like, okay, what's next? We're chasing the next thing now. It's going to be hard to like appreciate it. And even if you appreciate it, it's going to be fleeting, because you just trained your brain that the entire pathway up the mountain was going to be you scrambling, you trying really hard, you hustling to get to the top, right? Whereas if you are climbing up the mountain and you are present with every single moment and you love every single moment and you just patiently, like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this here, and you're just patiently like appreciating every bit of scenery, and you're listening to your body, and you're resting when you need to, and you're eating when you need to, and you're not pushing yourself super, super hard at all, you're gonna notice that it's not even about what's at the top. It's what's right in front of you, right in that moment, here and now. And then when you finally get to the top, you're gonna be like, wow, I enjoyed that entire process. I loved that. That was the best experience of my life, because it was rich. You were savoring it. You appreciated every little moment that came your way. And that is going to you just trained your brain to appreciate every moment. So now you're set in a better path, because when you climb the next mountain or whatever, you know it's going to be enjoyable. You know you're going to appreciate every moment, and it's not just going to be you hustling and racing and struggling to get to the top. It really is what you make it. So however the journey is like, on the path to your manifestation, your new identity, whatever it is you're trying to achieve in life, your purpose, whatever it is, that is how it's going to feel when you actually get it, right? That's why they say like money is an amplifier. When you get money, it just amplifies who you are deep down. I've heard that before, but I feel like we're getting really sidetracked here. So I'm going to talk more again about how like abundance and doing nothing is the ultimate signal to the universe that you are ready to receive and to let blessings flood your way. I feel like number one is that it just collapses that chase energy, right? Because, I mean, we already kind of briefly went over this, but it really just signals to the universe that you are not chasing, and it allows your manifestations to land to you. And number 2 is when you do nothing, you're essentially creating a vacuum of space around you. You are creating an energy of openness when you're not constantly rushing, thinking, struggling. When you just let your mind be calm, it allows the manifestation to come to you and land to you a lot more, because your mind is like an ocean, right? When you're splashing around and struggling, it doesn't have time. You can't think clearly, right? It's like there's this quote that I saw one time that was like, your mind is like a pot of water, right? When it's boiling, you can't see through it clearly. When you're struggling, when you're stressed, when you're angry, you can't see clearly. But when it's calm, you can see clearly, right? And that's kind of like how it works with the universe, right? And with the law of assumption, because when you are clear on who you are, when you are clear on who you've decided to be, on your new identity, it is done. It's that knowing, it's that assumption that this is who you are now. And no matter what happens to you externally, you see yourself as this version of you who is calm, or who is going to get the manifestation anyway. And you're not even worried, because you just know this is part of the journey and this is who you are. It's going to happen inevitably, because there is a future version of you who already has it, right? And knowing that there is a future version of you that has it, it just eases you so much, because you know that it's going to happen regardless. And it's just this knowing, this inevitability, and that helps the water stay calm instead of boiling, if that makes sense. Also, when the third thing here, the biggest thing here, is when you are doing nothing, you are signaling to the universe that you already assume your new identity, right? When you aren't scrambling to chase, you are essentially training your mind in the new identity, because you know that's already who you are. You're shifting away from the energy, like when you wake up in the morning, for example, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to do more to be this person, I got to do all of this, right? But when you wake up in the morning, it might be this calm energy of, oh, I'm already her. Whatever happens today happens. It is done, right? Like, it doesn't have to be hard. We're trained to think that we need to do more to be more. But the trick is just to decide that you are more, and then all of a sudden you are more. Like, when you are acting from the version of you that you want to be, from that new identity, the manifestations come from you. It's this mirror analogy. I love to bring it up in all of my videos if possible, because everyone, I believe, truly needs to hear this. It's like when you're standing in front of a mirror and you recognize that you are the one moving first, that is when everything changes, because so many of us are raised and trained to believe that looking in the mirror is what determines how we should feel, like what the reflection is showing us. We think that the mirror changes first. We think that the reality, what is around our 3D reality, what is happening right in front of us, if we are broke, loveless, sad, angry, and our life is just trash right in front of us, right? We are trained to think that what is in front of us is how we should feel, right? But when you become this light of hope, when you become this star, this light at the end of the tunnel for yourself, when you start being someone different, that is what changes everything, because that is the input in the mirror. You're being someone different, so the 3D reality will reflect around you and catch up to be different, because you are being someone different. It comes from you. You're not chasing something. When you're chasing something, that is actually signaling lack to the universe, to the world around you, to your mind, to your reticular activating system, because when you are chasing, you're signaling to your brain, you're basically telling yourself, oh, we don't have this yet. There is a gap between me and this thing, right? And so what's going to happen? There's going to be more lack. But when you are already assuming the identity that you are the version that this just happens naturally to, that blessings just come naturally to, that love comes naturally to, when you assume that identity and you feel it inherently in your being, that you know that this is going to happen because you have an image of yourself as that person, you know that there is a future version of you that exists, you can call upon that energy now and have that knowing and that trust. And that is essentially what builds that new identity. When you choose that over and over and over again, and your identity will reflect that in the 3D. Okay, so I hope this whole video made sense, talking about abundance and receiving, and how doing nothing is actually the best thing you can do to receive what you desire in life, because it's so good. You're just signaling to the universe, you're training your own mind that rest is safety. And when you have a regulated nervous system, when you can feel safe in doing nothing, that literally will just opens up a world of opportunity for you, because that is where your manifestations feel safe to land. And that is signaling to your reticular activating system that you are safe being the new identity, that your subconscious and your ego feel safe finally being in the new identity. And when you finally feel safe in that new identity, that is when the 3D starts to catch up. That's when the mirror starts changing right before your eyes. And this is something that I very much have struggled with, and I'm actively working on myself, because I have always been such a go, go, go person. I was raised to think that hustle was the way to go, that I needed to work, to achieve, to become, right? But no, you become first, and then the work and the achievement follow, because it's aligned action that comes from you, not you doing something to become something, if that makes sense, right? You see it in your mind first, and you do it out here. You see it out here, it becomes out here second, right? Aligned action, or it becomes, you become first and aligned action follows. Energy first, action second, always. And if you're someone who struggles with sitting and doing nothing, you're not alone. I know that feeling. I have that feeling happen to me so much, where it's been a day that I've had where I've done not a lot, right? And this actually works perfect around the holiday weekend, if you celebrate the holidays around this time of year, where you have a few days off of work or something, and you sit there and you just have nothing to do, and you've done nothing all day, and you're like, oh my gosh, this feels like I need to do something. I feel like I need to do something to be productive. That's the ego, that's the subconscious mind. That means that you don't fully feel safe in the new identity yet, and it's just showing you where you can keep choosing the new identity and repeating to yourself, like, I am safe doing nothing, and just using that as an exercise, as a trigger in a good way, to like trigger you to be as present as possible in the moment if you can. And then doing that repetitively creates that new identity and makes your nervous system feel safe with the new identity, so you can receive more and you can receive your manifestations and let the new identity land seamlessly, and train your ego and subconscious to feel safe with it. So again, you're not alone. If you sit there doing nothing and you feel like you have stuff crawling under your skin and you want to explode, that's been happening to me since I was like in 4th grade, where I sit there when I'm doing nothing and it just drives me crazy. But like, I've trained it to be like a trigger now, to think, oh no, I'm safe here. I'm able to receive doing nothing, and like thinking nothing and like meditating and whatever. Create space for the manifestation, for the blessing to land, for the life that I desire to land, for the new identity to land, right? For future, it creates room for future me to come into present me now, so that I am living a life of ease that I desire instead of a life of stress, right? So anyway, I hope this made sense. If you watched till the end of the video, I appreciate you so much. I hope that this resonated with you in some way, shape, or form. Let me know if it did, and I am so looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Sending you lots of love. Bye.